on the air because I'm a trained professional or something like that. Your last name, Keawekane?
Keawekane.
Keawekane?
Keawekane. The W is pronounced like a V. Keawekane.
Keawekane. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I am with the one, the only DJ Keawekane. It's so weird looking at that W, not thinking it's like W sound there.
Right.
So I take it's a Hawaiian last name.
Yep. It is.
Yeah, so that's so the Hawaiian like the W's just sound like V's, and forgive my ignorance on this.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it is, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I learned something new. Hey, okay, you gotta teach me naughty swear word at some point, and I can say I'm definitely in the club
There's
at some.
no swear words in Hawaiian. I'm sorry.
Really?
There's no swear words in Hawaiian.
Wow.
Yeah. There was one episode on I think it's like Orange is the New Black, where there was, I don't know, there was some controversy about that because, you know, they wanted swear words in the show. I haven't seen the show, you know, so I don't know what they were talking about. But I remember when the internet was just on fire because there's no swear words in Hawaiian. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Like, I don't like. That's weird because see, see. This is how I make friends. I know the other way still works, which is food. Food is definitely a way to make friends, right?
Oh, yeah, you definitely be my friend if we talk about food. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely, right? Or not just talk about it, like you know. Well, Fiji, I'm actually a halfway decent cook. I'm not gonna say I'm a great cook, but I'm halfway decent, right? So I mean, I'd be like, you know what? Here's food, bribery, and you'd be like, my friend, I love you, right?
There you go.
But so the other way though always was swearing, because here's the thing, right? Most people like. I learned how to swear in sign language because I made her kind of like blush just thinking about just different like swears, because everybody likes to have fun, right? So you make it fun, you form a bond, and then that's when you start like. And almost every culture has bad words, and they're usually the first things you learn. But Hawaiian. So then I guess I ask this: what's the first thing you teach people in Hawaiian?
Not swear words.
No, obviously not. So what do you teach?
Well, the first word that everybody learns in Hawaiian has got to be aloha. It means hello, it means goodbye, and it means love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then the next is mahalo, which is thank you. You know.
Mahalo. Okay, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
When if I get
what everybody starts with is aloha and mahalo, hello and thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So so how you doing today, man?
Good. Nothing much. Just chilling out. Just you know.
Yeah, I totally get you. That's what I'm going to be doing next week. Well, next week I'm going to be pushing my advertising business a little bit more. I got like that freelance life, man.
Oh, what was that about?
So basically, we like what we would do is I would interview you like this, right? Like not quite like this. We're going to bullshit a lot more on this than I would do on that. A little bit more anyway. And basically the idea is I've done this already with J.E. Taylor, Kat Flannery. What I do is I take clips and kind of get your story out there. Because my true belief is with business, with any kind of business, we're artists, but we're also businessmen and women. Mm-hmm. And while I don't, I'm going to put this very clear. I'm not crazy about the word reputation, just because I had a mentor who loved it a little too much for my own taste. That word is I've seen as code to fuck people, and I really don't like it for that reason. Yeah, but there is something to be said about crafting an image or a story that people can relate to you about. I think that's a great idea. And I think also like there's only one of you, man. There's only one of you on this planet. You're a special dude. Just based on that alone. I don't know nothing else about you. I will never meet another person like you ever again. That's a wondrous thing. So what's your story? Where do you come from? Where do you go? So what I do is I take some of those clips, and then I do commercial stuff too. Like if you go on my TikTok, you'll actually see the commercial stuff I did for JE and for Kat, right? You can see it. I'll make a formal commercial about you, your project. I can do that. Like that's the big stuff. Or smaller things. I can make Kickstarter videos. I can make like, you know, quick little ads about projects. I can do graphics, like that kind of thing. Because even though things are about to get a little rougher in terms of the economy, it's actually this is my thinking. It's actually the opposite strategy works. If you want to make money in a bad economy, you have to advertise. so people know you're out there.
Yeah.
Advertising becomes more important in the harder times than actually it is in good times. In good times, everybody's got money. So, hey, that shit's cool. That shit's cool. That shit's cool. I'll just, you don't need that. You don't really need to advertise as much because people got money.
Right.
But when people don't, but when people don't have money, well, what the fuck am I going to buy?
Yeah.
Right. And so guys, especially from a small business end of things, right? You're trying to get yourself a name and a nose. Now, again, I'm not going to promise you right away that you're going to get a shit ton of sales, but I'm going to give you an identity that you can. Because the other thing too, artists hate talking about themselves, except for me. I'm an asshole. I can talk about myself all day long. But the thing is, right? It's finding that connection piece. Because if I believe in you, the person, I believe in like DJ, the person. I'm going to look at DJ's projects, what he does, because I want to support him.
Right.
And every company, I mean, and no matter what the company is, like it can be a company like this, it can be a company like Coca-Cola. They want to establish a connection with their customers because if they're familiar with you, you'll buy them.
Right.
That's what advertising is ultimately all about at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So whether like you're an artist, you're a comic book creator, but you're a businessman. So you got to get your business out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's exactly what I mean, especially when it comes to like artists, because like you say, we hate talking about ourselves, and it's like this is my first Kickstarter, and it's like I can't stand when it's like just put the camera on me and go. Like, you know what I mean? It's like so there's you send out a media kit hoping that people will read it, and you can't tell when people don't, but you know what I mean? So
well,
when they just put the camera like this, like as creative people, we're usually the one behind the camera. You know what I mean? So now we gotta put ourselves out in front of everybody, and that's just rough. You know what I mean?
I've become much more used to it, but I mean, even when I listen to myself, sometimes I'm just to be honest. There's always a little bit of this is me, like this is actually me, and there's a little bit in your mind. It's like, what the fuck is this, right? Because it's you, right? But on the flip side, I mean, but this is the other side of it. That coin, though. If I'm not enthusiastic about my work, you're not going to be either.
Yeah.
That's the flip side, right?
Right.
So it goes kind of both ways. So there's the trick is. So are you a professional wrestling fan?
Are you? Not right now.
No. I know it's fair. When you were a kid?
Yeah, I was. Definitely.
Or do you know? I've said this on this show a few times. Macho Man Randy Savage is my all-time. Oh yeah. Yeah, right. But here's the thing.
Let me tell you something, brother.
That's right. He did that too. I'm too hot to handle, too cold to hold. Right? I was like, ooh yeah. See, everybody knows the Macho Man or has a connection with the Macho Man because there was nothing like him. He was larger in life, but he's also. But why he worked, and I watched the YouTube. You can find his old promos on YouTube. Some of them are fucking nuts. My favorite one to find is, and I've actually given this to writers to watch, is the cream of the crop because he comes out with coffee things, right? These little coffee creamers. I mean, it's the dumbest thing you've ever seen. But then you got to remember something. He made millions of dollars getting people to get out of their homes to go to an arena to pay for some overpriced food and beer to watch him do a choreographic fight. I'm not going to say fake fight. Choreographic fight with somebody else, whoever it was. Yeah. And he always was near the top of the card. And I realized the reason why, because yes, on the one hand, his was the silliest motherfucker on the planet. And that was part of it. But the other hand, though, he believed it. I'm not saying he believed that he was large in life and the toughest guy on the planet, but with that character, he believed in that story enough that he could share it to people.
Yeah.
And that's why he succeeded. Yes, he was a good wrestler. Yes, he did a lot of things, but there were a lot of good wrestlers. Very few people can communicate what makes them so special because we want to feel something with whatever story we're into. It doesn't matter, beyond wrestling. Whatever story we're into, we want to feel it, man.
Yeah.
So you, as a writer, artist, whatever out there, you have to believe in your stuff. And that's a really awkward place because it's like, as you say, I'd rather just make shit. Right? I'd rather just make shit. But you also need to recognize, and that's why you're on the show. I mean, as much as you like, we've talked for all of 15 minutes. I'm sure you don't mind how obnoxious I am a little bit, but at the same time, you wouldn't be here if you didn't have to share your project.
Right.
Right, you wouldn't. You just wouldn't. You would rather create, and that's a completely understandable point of view. But then you got completely obnoxious assholes like myself. I'm sorry, I ruined it for you.
We need the managers, man. We need the Paul Heymans and we need the Bob Heenans, and we need those guys.
Yeah. But that's what we
just need those, the Jimmy Harts.
Or you just need to find that little piece of yourself you don't mind sharing. Yeah. You don't have to share like here's the other thing too. No one shares everything on here, or at least no one should.
Right.
But at the same time, whoever you are, right, you got to be comfortable with that. And we don't live in an age anymore where you have the luxury of being completely hidden, right? Yeah. Even the quietest of us learn a little bit about how to say, hey, I'm awesome and made of cheese. I'm not saying they say it quite that way,
right?
But you got to have a little bit of that enthusiasm or that. Have you ever met Kevin Eastman? Or have you ever met Jeff? You ever met Jeff Smith?
No, right? Not Jeff Smith.
Okay. So Jeff Smith's my favorite. Although Eastman's like I have not met. I have been in an autograph sign. I don't know him, but I've seen him. He's like the chillest, nicest guy.
Yeah.
I've ever had to be in line. Like he's one of the very few people I will put the effort to go into the freaking lineup to go get an autograph from because he's gonna be sweet to you even when you get there. Even though it's not gonna be for too long, he's still gonna treat you good, right?
Yeah.
You remember how he treats you. Jeff Smith's like when he was starting selling bone, he was so enthusiastic about it. He just like I think part of the reason he was so successful, like he believed in it, right? Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it, right? I think the big challenge is okay. I'm gonna probably screw your last name up one more time. I apologize for this. Keawekane? Did I get it? Keawekane? Okay, so it's okay, so you got to find that little part of yourself that's genuinely you. That people will genuinely like because you are a genuinely awesome dude. I don't know you very well, but you're probably a very genuinely awesome dude. It's finding that piece of yourself you're going to have to go, I got to put this out there because this works. Now, again, I like you don't want it to become this practice cartoony bullshit because that's when that happens, you're dead. But something you're like, I can share with people. I'm comfortable sharing with it, and then I can cut it off when I'm not there anymore. Does that fit? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Because just putting yourself out there is not comfortable. So I mean, I get it.
It just sucks, right? Because you would rather draw or write or. What's your first love with your art, by the way? What's your first love? What do you prefer?
My first love, I would have to say, would be first love is Star Wars.
Oh wow!
The original, 1977 Star Wars. That was the one that was like boom,
Yeah.
All those years ago. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
But then after that, it's like the cartoons, like the Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh yeah.
And in the afternoons, they would play the cartoons. The Thundercats, the He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers, all of that. That was all me. That
He-Man's the shit. That's what I always say. He-Man's the shit. Yeah, man. I actually, so I have a little soft spot for the reboot they did about 10 years ago.
Me too. The He-Man reboot.
Yeah. I had a real soft spot for that. That was really good.
Me too. Even though there was a Thundercats reboot that was pretty good too. It wasn't the
I did not see that one, so I can't comment on it.
It was okay. I mean, they kind of, they made the characters younger, but it wasn't bad. It was just a lot of filler episodes, so people get.
I found He-Man was not filler. It was just fun.
He-Man was good. That was really good.
Yeah, I love the take on. I love the reimagining of the whole thing. I thought it was so cool. They did a really good job.
One better than the one they released on Netflix like recently. I wasn't too much into that one.
No, but I mean, it is what it is, right? You go in there and not like you sometimes when people come up with an idea to relaunch something, it doesn't always hit. Right, like sometimes it really does.
Yeah.
Like my favorite Star Wars. I've talked ad nauseum about the movies with different people throughout my series run. Oh, I gotta ask. Obviously, the first trilogy is the best one. We're not gonna dispute that, right? So, of the other two, which one did you like more?
Oh, it's a tough one, man.
Yeah, I know.
Tough one, man. Like, uh, I gotta say, it's hard because I really like episode one. I like episode three. The Revenge of the Sith is good. The other two, not so much. But that lightsaber battle at the end of the episode one is good.
I'm
The
actually
rest, the rest of the prequels is like, okay,
so,
whatever. Then the new stuff is so like, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, but they're also, when you look at him, from my point of view, when you look at them as movies, I think, oh god,
okay, okay.
the
So
Last Jedi is, I can't, I cannot, I just cannot.
no, I
I think they kind of course corrected with the final one, but was still like,
okay.
you guys bringing back the Emperor Palp, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, but still, I think they're better movies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the movie themselves are better than what episode two was, and what because
okay.
one and two is, to me, is really boring. You know what I mean?
Okay, so episode one,
But
there's
there's
one.
good things in those two episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, episode two is a hard sell for me. I'm just gonna let you know up front. Episode two for me is a really hard sell. It's good. That all right. It's just really hard. Right. Other than Padme when she was wearing the cut off white, that was cute. But I mean, that was like maybe the best thing in that movie. And I'm not. That's my own opinion, folks. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, like the action is you don't get the action wrong in Star Wars, which is fine. It's the other stuff in Star Wars that it's not like. Oh, okay.
So for me, episode one. Here's my favorite thing about episode one. I wish it had been its own movie. I actually enjoyed the pod race. I thought the pod race was actually absurdly fun, right?
The pod race. The only problem I have with the pod race is, where's the music?
I gotcha.
The music does not kick in during the pod race, and I'm like, this would be
perfect.
This would be so much better. This would be like, I would be totally into this if you gave me the score that, like, who's the guy that did the score? Oh, was it Hans Zimmer? Whoever it was. You know, they score these movies and there's no music during the pod race.
It probably wasn't his call. I'm just saying that up front. It probably was not his call. But
I'm saying, like, somebody dropped the ball right there. You know what I mean?
So for me, my favorite part is I still remember the whole race course. I think I'm just maybe a sadist at heart. My favorite part is actually the scavengers shooting at the pod racers.
There was also too many CGI characters that you just never cared
about. No. In terms of the movies. Okay, so this is my opinion. It's not by much. Well, actually, it is by more. I think. Okay, so this is my opinion. Rise of the Skywalker sucks. It's got some good stuff, but that I can't get that first hour of my life back, man. I just can't do it. Right? It is a
I actually enjoyed Rise of Skywalker better than Last Jedi, but you're right, it sucks. But it's just
no. Once you get by that first hour, it's not bad. But that first hour is brutal. It's just like I had to literally turn my I don't mind turning my brain off if I'm supposed to. Like, okay, for example, something like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's fun. It's not designed to be like it also. And I'm choosing Guardians because it's the closest thing Marvel has to Star Wars, right? Mm-hmm. It has a lot of the same feel and tone as Star Wars, but it always has a sense of fun to it. Mm-hmm. You don't take it seriously. It's not like it has its serious moments.
Yeah,
but it's not like when Rocket Raccoon's talking about, like, in the end of the first movie, about how to treat people, and you listen to that like the crimes he's okay committing. You're like, dude, you got some problems, right?
Right.
But it's not designed to be serious.
Yeah.
I had literally that first hour, it's like, it makes no sense. Now, Last Jedi,
Yeah.
I like it, but it failed in one very crucial way. And because it failed, I can see why people didn't like it. Here's what I liked about it. I actually love that Snoke died in the middle of it. I thought that was actually brilliant. No. It was cool because you didn't see it coming.
Yeah, I mean, okay, see, so this is the thing about not seeing things coming. I don't think not like, you know what I mean, just because like I feel like the audience nowadays is like, you have to give me something new and then it's gonna be good. Like you have to, and it's like that it only works the first time you watch it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It only works the first time you watch it. When you rewatch it and you already know, does it make that next time so the next time you watch it, you know what's coming. Now you know everything. Is it still cool? Or only that first time? You understand what I'm saying?
I get it.
Because you caught me off guard. Now it becomes good. So now now the audience is becoming kind of, I don't know. Anyway, I don't speak for the rest of the audience.
No. I want to answer you because I get where you're coming. I think you're right, but only because in this case, here's the thing: when we tell a story, we play with expectations. That's what we do.
Yeah,
we have an idea how a story's supposed to go, and
but you also have to stay true to the spirit of the story.
Yes,
and that's what I.
So let me tell you why it failed, and this is because honestly, I think that was a smart decision, but this is where the movie failed. This is my opinion. Okay, they didn't do enough with Rey. Right, that's where I think the movie, and the reason why that's important. Here's why that's important. Because so
they didn't know what to do with Rey.
Well, no, and that I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you there, and that was their failure. Because here's the thing: if you are going to do, like, honestly, if you looked at the story beat of what they did, it's actually brilliant. That moment in of itself is brilliant. But where you're right, you have to follow it up with something really good. Because if you're going to take away what we expect, you got to put something in there. Now, I actually like the idea that anybody could be a Jedi. That was the one thing about, I thought as a concept, it's interesting. What I didn't like about it was, so Rey was a mystery in the first movie. And it was okay in the first movie. But in the second movie, you had to give an answer. I'm not saying the full answer, but you had to give an answer. Like, now this is an unfair comparison.
You have to give us the starting of what she is, at least. In the last movie.
Absolutely. And that's
the thing about these movies for me is like, you could tell the first movie and the second movie had nothing to do, like, you know what I mean? Like, whoever was doing it was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Here you go. And the next guy's like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean? Something totally different. And then so it's like, okay, and then pass it back. And then the next guy is like, okay, well, I'm gonna take this, then this, and I'll try to fix this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And then all of us needed a drink after the first hour. Like, what the hell did we just watch? Now, it's better than Clone Wars. I'll give it that. But I won't. But like Clone Wars to me is the worst of the 9.
Me too. Worst. Like, Clone Wars is the worst.
Yeah, no, it's the worst of the 9. The dialogue actually hurts me when I hear it.
Yeah.
Hurts me. It actually deliberately hurts me. I actually feel sorry for the actors because you have to try to make that work. And considering how those movies were filmed, that must have been hell. Like, I literally think if I ever get the opportunity to interview Natalie Portman, I'm just going to ask her, like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to criticize you because I feel like you were dealt a very bad hand. Is it
Yeah.
as bad a hand as I think it was?
She's awesome, man.
She's great. No,
like she can do no wrong in my nothing about her is bad. And yes, her lines are bad, but that's because
it's not her fault. It's not her fault. No.
Even Harrison Ford said the same thing when he was reading his lines. It's like, George, you can say this, you can write this shit, but you can't say it. You know what I mean? Like, there's this quote that Harrison they interviewed Harrison Ford a long time ago, and he's if you watch Star Wars, the original Star Wars, he's in the Falcon and he's saying all of these things about the Navicomputer and blah 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 blah, and he has to say it really really quick. And he had a complaint to George Lucas, which was, George, you can write this, but for me as an actor, how am I gonna say this in a way that's believable? He did it, but he just never he wasn't happy with it. You know what I mean?
No, because
the dialogue is because George was doing the dialogue and whatever. That's his creation.
Well, it's like okay, you and me, we're communicating over thousands of miles right now, right? Are we going to go and explain how that actually works? How the signal goes up in space and comes back down? Does anybody truly give a shit about that?
No.
So why would somebody automatically do that for any reason? It's one of the things about hard science fiction on film. It only makes sense in certain situations, right? To actually do that on screen. And it's like, and if those situations aren't there, it's vomit coming out of the mouth, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, but he was anyways God, the Last Jedi, I can't do that one, man.
No, dude, listen, I get why you don't like it. I honestly understand. I think again,
the Jedi have to die. Is like the Jedi have to go in. It's like, did you watch Obi-Wan?
I haven't seen Obi-Wan yet.
Okay,
is it good? No, is it good or is it no?
The last 10 minutes of the last episode is the only thing to me that was good about Obi-Wan. Other than Ewan McGregor's performance, and you like seeing him. Like you like seeing all Uncle Owen is the same guy, so that looks good, But oh God, I mean this, and it's nothing about politics. This is just about the movie, like just about what I'm seeing. God, I everything that is good to me, everything that is good about it is every time they throw back to what we already know. You know what I mean? So anytime they hit the tone with which is already created, if not from the prequels, which was 20 years ago, or from the originals, which was 40 years ago.
Oh, geez,
you know what I mean?
At this point, 50 years ago, man.
Or maybe 50, whatever. So
we're gonna go 50 years in Star Wars, man.
For me, as a fan of the original, it's like the only time it's good is when they're hitting the same tones from what we already know from before. Nothing in and of the series itself to me is just, it's not good.
See, I look at it like
I'm not gonna go on in public and go say my opinion. I mean, I guess this is, but this is we're talking about Star Wars. I don't know how we got here, but here we are. You know what I mean?
Well, no, dude, we talk about first loves and we're just going on, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like your first love, and then your first love becomes something else. Like, you know what I mean? It's not,
but
the same girl you fell in love with the first time. She's not the same girl as when you first fell in love with her. You know
no, she's gotten older. She might still be cute, but she no longer has the same interests you have. She's moved on to other things, and you're like, what happened, baby? I loved you like you were before, but then you realize, and this is the thing we realize about all franchises.
Yeah,
there's a time it's for you, and then eventually it's not.
Yep,
and you just have to be, and you have to be a big enough.
Me and my son, we love Star Wars, and he loves it, and it's like, okay, you love it. What else?
I'll do it.
And he's trying to get me to love it the way he loves it. And I was like, son, I don't love this. I'm sorry. I can't. It's not the same. Like, you know what I mean? Something in the mix is not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, dude. totally get
the
it.
magic that was in the original mix is not in this mix.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like when you taste that home cooking, and somebody's
Yes.
trying to replicate that home cooking, and it's like, I'm sorry, this is not my mom's. You know what I mean?
No, it's totally no. Yeah, you just can't get your mom's cooking back. And like I
Yeah.
said, I and again, like I said, in all due respect, I will say this: will respectfully agree to disagree. I understand your point of view. I do.
Yeah.
We'll agree to disagree about Last Jedi, right? I like it.
The Last Jedi is still a better movie than well, okay, so let me rank mines, okay?
Yeah,
So
sure.
at the tip top is Empire for me.
Yeah,
Then
you
it's
can't.
Star Wars,
Yep.
and then it's Return of the Jedi,
Okay.
and then it's uh
Revenge of the Sith or Force Awakens.
Revenge of the Sith, and then it's Force
Prob-
Awakens,
Okay.
and then it's Force Awakens, and then it's for me it's the what's the last one?
Oh, Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
Okay.
Because of the hope that it gives, you know what I mean? And then there's Last Jedi,
And then there's Clone Wars. So actually, where's the Phantom Menace rate? I gotta ask, where's the Phantom Menace rate?
Sorry, Phantom Menace is right after is right up right above second to the last.
Okay.
No, I can't put I can't put that.
Phantom Menace is better than Clone Wars. It's like a
Phantom Menace is better than Clone Wars, and I gotta put him above Ryan Johnson's damn
Last Jedi. So okay.
Yeah, because he's not trying to mess with the mix. You know, the Force is, they're trying to correct his midichlorians. Who cares? Like whatever. You know what I mean? Like just it is what
Whatever.
it is.
It
Let's
is
just
what it is.
move on.
Hey, listen. It was Lucas's thing. Whatever.
It is what it is. They're gonna go on. They're gonna make whatever.
Oh, sure. They're gonna make another generation of Star Wars somewhere down the road. I hope they come up with a good bad guy, because if I see Palpatine at 90 years old fucking in the movie, at that point I'm gonna be like, guys, let him die.
Right, exactly. Wasn't Kylo Ren supposed to be the bad guy?
Yeah.
Even if you get to see, the thing about the last one is, like, you should have made Kylo Ren the bad guy. Forget about Palpatine. Just make Kylo Ren the bad guy. You can redeem him after you beat him. You can beat a bad guy and you can redeem him after you beat him. It did that with Darth Vader. And then it rings true, but then you get to see Kylo be the bad guy that he's supposed to be.
Kylo is an interesting one.
He should have been the bad guy. I'm telling you, who is your villain? Who is your villain? Who is your villain? Is it Palpatine again? Back from the grave?
Mm-hmm. Or it was bad. Like I say, that first hour hurt a lot.
You could have had that whole last movie could have been dedicated to Snoke, and that could have been some puppet Snoke and be like, you thought you killed me? Come on, you know what I mean? You could have did that. Snoke could have been somebody totally different, somebody totally new. You could have. He had the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like let it finish the way it finishes, and then he comes back. It's the same thing you're doing with Palpatine. You can't give this new character. You cannot give us something new. You gotta give us, you know what I mean?
So
you lack the imagination. You lack the creative juices to go and grab this Snoke character, but you can pull Palpatine from where? You know what I mean?
I can't argue with you. You got me dead there. I can't argue with you.
You could have just did that. Now you get something else. Now the thing about it is we also learn we are on the ride. We coming for the ride. If I'm coming for the ride, give me something new. You know what I mean? If you would give me something new, give me something new.
Or
and not only that, so this is my biggest problem with the newest Star Wars. This guy had 40 years to make Jedi, and he made 8 Sith. Like, what the hell? What was he doing for 40 years? He made. Oh God, he made.
So DJ, if we were in person right now, I'd be giving you a hug, going, "It's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay."
This guy had 40 years. We don't get to see no Jedi Temple. We didn't get to see no new Jedis. I mean, I was thinking, oh, we're gonna have like here's the new Star Wars. We're gonna have a whole bunch of lightsaber battles with a new bunch of Jedis. Nope, none of that. Kind of put them all off screen, or whoever it was, the Knights of Ren had like 10 minutes at the last movie and a little snippet. It's like we should see those guys. You know, where were these guys? Where are the rest of the Jedi? Are they just all? We don't talk about them. They all died. You know,
they're all dead. It's like, wait, what? Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, all that said, I still love it. You know what I mean? I'm still.
No, you do. No. This is
still gonna watch. No matter how terrible it is, I'm still gonna watch it. And like
the cartoon series Clone Wars is awesome.
I can't watch it. I'm too old.
No, you're not.
My son loves it. I watched like bits and pieces here and there because I was trying to watch it while it was airing on. There was no Netflix at the time, but you know, I just couldn't watch it. I probably can watch skip like the first few seasons or whatever and just watch the part where it gets good. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I don't know because I haven't seen those. You know.
So here's the thing about Clone Wars. We're like, okay, I always judge like if I like of all the extra stuff in Star Wars, I like it because it makes Anakin Skywalker a human being.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing about it. Like if you just go by the movies, Anakin's a dick and probably should be in jail.
Yeah,
probably. You know, and
he'd be dead.
well, no.
This guy's one Hitler. You know how many planes this guy can blow up?
Well, no. I mean, before he became Vader.
Oh, okay.
He should probably been in jail before what he did in that one village. And also, I mean, that was the part about the Clone Wars that like I completely go, nope, I can't buy this. And that's when Padme comes after she massacres the village. I'm like, I you know, like one of those like big giant red flags about my love of my life.
I remember being I was like in my early 20s when I saw you know,
Clone
Wars, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that too. I would totally go back with my lightsaber and be like, yeah, I'm gonna kill all you bitches now. You know?
Yes.
But I was like, I could relate to Anakin.
Yeah, I know. It might have been gangster. We'll say that. Exactly. It might have been gangster.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. Like, he was a dick in all of those in Clone Wars and even in Revenge of the Sith. He was a dick.
Well, he was. I mean, it's Darth Vader in the making, right? You know.
So well, yeah, but here's the thing. Like, don't you think him becoming a bad guy would be so much more tragic if you actually liked him? So I mean, say what you will about the new trilogy. I like the characters I should like, and I hated the characters I should hate. They did that right. A lot of things, maybe not so much, but they did at least that part right.
Yeah, whereas they dropped the ball a few times on the new one, though. They should have put Poe in a Falcon.
Yeah.
They had him. I mean, they just totally sideline him and Finn. You know what I mean? For everything for Rey.
Oh no. I completely see, and I think Finn was my favorite of all the characters in the new series.
Oh yeah,
such an favorite. Well, no, I see. For me, I thought Finn might have been the bravest one of all. He literally escaped.
He was in the episode. The first one, I like Finn.
Yeah.
In the next one, you lost me.
I
and mind you, every part with him and that Chinese girl, and I'm not against the Chinese girl and whatever. It's just boring.
Yeah.
There's nothing good about that. They're fighting all this, you know, they're going through this.
The whole fixer thing was terrible. The whole fixer thing was terrible.
That's just terrible. You know what I mean? The storyline is clumsy. It's all of that is. So you lost Finn to me right there. You know what I mean?
And he did nothing with him in the third.
He was an ex-stormtrooper. You could have did so much with that.
Yep.
No, they had to bring in a Chinese girl, and nothing against the Chinese girl, you know what I mean? But you couldn't have done nothing with what you already built in the episode prior. You gotta build off of those. None of that, you know.
No, I get I get it.
And
All right.
then
all right.
they did the whole God. They did Paul wrong. I'm sorry, they did Paul wrong, man. He was the best thing about the reason why I like the Last Jedi is because of Paul. And then they're just telling us, so two bad boys. You thought you was gonna have a good action fun movie over here. Not really. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I waited 40 years for finally see the things that when I was a child. You know what I mean? But we're gonna take all the things that you love about, we'll bring you to the store, and then we'll be like, it's not for you. Not you 40-year-old man. Too bad for you. F you. This is for the kids. You know what I mean?
And you're like,
okay. And I gotta graciously just, and I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I did. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, fine. It's not for me.
For the most part, I feel.
But if you guys gonna keep doing this, I don't know. You know what I mean? This is what you guys gonna keep doing this? This is what you gonna do for us? You know what I mean? Like, forget about the fandom that is warranting one whole other. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, okay, this is where we're going with it. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, I guess I gotta shut up and just deal with it. You know what I mean?
Hey, it sounds okay. So listen, for my therapy bill for this is,
I can't wait for the next generation's Pokemon do the same thing to them. You know what I mean?
Japan does it differently. Japan does it.
So.
No.
States get the hand on them.
No. Japan legitimately does it differently. Right.
That's good.
Right. So does No, it's the one thing. The one thing they do is like, okay, so Japan does two things I think really smart, which is
okay. Pokemon is a bad idea. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
The bait and switch. It sucks. Like, you know what I mean? It sucked being in the position that I was in and thinking about all these. Like, we grew up with Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and Princess. Like, these are characters that we grew up with. You never put them together in one scene for us? You never think that we would want to see these characters together at least at one point? Even if, I mean, we know you got to kill them. That's fine. Kill them off. Kill them all. They all, whatever. But you couldn't put them in. You couldn't give us one scene? Not one scene? Not one scene. You could have put Princess Leia, Han Solo, and Luke Skywalker while Carrie Fisher was still alive. You couldn't do that. You had to separate. Wow. I mean, you could have. If you was gonna separate them, you could have gave us a little bit first and then separated them. Oh, you know, I don't know. I mean, nobody knew Carrie Fisher was gonna die. But me goodness, I mean that's the emotional core of what we all
of the old show. I would argue with you that was part of the problem with the new trilogy. They honored it. They tried to honor it too much. I think, right?
Which is fine because you kind of come up with a formula after a while. You know what I mean? Because so you see that again, right? So it becomes a trope, right? So you see the Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and Princess Leia, right? So they do that again with the parents, right? So you got Anakin, you got Obi-Wan, and then you got Padme. Nobody saw that, yeah. So these guys do the same thing, right? And more throwback. Okay, that's fine. You know what I mean? That's fine, but just give us something. Like, you know what I mean? Just if you're gonna put these characters together, put them together. You know what I mean? But yeah, like you say, trying to honor too much of that and not taking. Oh God, we could go.
You'll keep going. So listen, here's what we're gonna do. It's a big hug. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. And just remember one thing. This is the one thing, and this is the cool thing, like even with comic books.
Yeah.
Right. Runs pass you by. All good things come to an end.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you can still watch those first 3 episodes and still love them for what they were, without ever worrying about anything else, right? Yeah. So I think that and that's it, and that's how I honor like okay, I'm a Green Lantern fan. Okay, I'm a Green Lantern. I grew up Green Lantern. I got to watch Hal Jordan become a psycho killer in a comic in like 3 issues. And then because they were too scared to kill him off for a long time because they were scared that Kyle wasn't going to work. And then when Kyle worked, like, oh shit, what do we do with Kyle? kill him off, and then they bring him back 10 years later, and now he's possessed by a space bug, and you're like, okay. So here's the thing. This is what I've learned. I can enjoy it with any kind of big property. This is what happens with all of them to some degree. Some are taken care of than others. See Doctor Who. Doctor Who does a very wonderful job of doing this.
Never watched Doctor Who, yeah.
Doctor Who. Here's the thing about Doctor Who. Okay, there's a doctor. They last for so long, and then they go, and then they're replaced by somebody else. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing about that is, so
different generation.
It's a different, but thing is, you can do similar things with each of the characters, and you can do different things with each of the characters, and you're still honoring what came before, right. And you're doing it in a way that, okay, let's say there's one doctor you don't like, you can skip it. It's not for you. And then when the new doctor comes, you come back, maybe, right? Mm-hmm. Or probably, right? Mm-hmm. Or maybe someone coming into this franchise going, where the fuck do I start? You find the new doctor. You go with the new doctor. You enjoy that little ride and go, that's really cool. Well, the doctors are like, it's a really smart way to take care of a series or a franchise, right? Because the investment, if I really love something, I get my small piece and it's just mine.
Right.
It's a really good way of doing it. And I think like Doctor Who's a really brilliant, as a franchise concept, is brilliant. Mm-hmm. And so, because it solves the other problem is that sooner or later, if you have a franchise, no matter how good the franchise is, I'm also a Star Trek guy. I'm 50-50 about Picard, okay? I'm 50-50. Yeah.
I'm not a Star Trek. Sorry.
No, it's fair.
I mean, I watched like the originals in the new generation, but no,
that's cool. I like both Star Wars and Star Trek. I'm just a whore. I love them all, and that's okay. But the thing is, when you get right down to it, right? Some of this stuff is not for me.
Yeah.
Right, and some of it is. Let's put it this way: you put enough of it out there, some of it's going to be shit. It's a bell curve, right? There's a bell curve of everything. Mm-hmm. So what I remember though is the pieces that are out that I really love are still there, and they always will be there. So I can always have those pieces, right? And that's how. And honestly, that's the best way to deal with it, because I realize that sooner or later.
Yeah, okay, but I get some issues with that. So let's say put into food, like you say. Oh, you love Big Macs or whatever, quarter pounder with cheese. Oh yeah, come. Mm-hmm. And you bring the next generation along, but but we're gonna change the recipe now. You know what I mean? So we got your money, you ate them, and now you don't like it anymore. But you had the old ones. But you remember when they used to be good? You know what I mean?
To a point. See, there's a little difference. There's a little difference, my friend. There's a little difference.
The thing about it is appetite. We all have the appetite for it.
Yeah.
How many times can you watch those? I mean, it's 3 movies. You know what I mean?
No. I get that too. No. I totally get that.
Too bad for you, little 40-year-old man. You go watch your old movies. You know what I mean?
What? But
you understand what you understand?
No, I get it. I get it. There should be some. There should be something catered to you. I'm not disputing that. You want to
cater to you, and that you gonna go over there.
No.
I bought the tickets to all of these. I took my family to all of these movies, and then I got the bird in the movie. You know what I mean? They got my money already. Got my money. They was like, ha, good for you.
Yeah.
Bye. Thank you for inflating our numbers. Thank you for putting the box office to where it is now. You know what I mean?
See. This is where I'm a little bit old school. This is just me. I'm old school. I am not. If I don't like something, I'll leave. You got my money this time. Bully for you. Yeah. Good fucking luck getting my money again. Right? You're not going to get
Obi-Wan.
What? No,
no.
I
wasn't gonna watch. I was gonna boycott Obi-Wan, but my son was like, "Oh, Dad," because we watched the Mandalorian. I actually love the Mandalorian.
Yeah. So here's the thing. See, this is where they got you. They only actually got you. They got your son. So because they got your son, you're caught for the ride. So that's right. They got your son. Yeah. That's fine. And you know what? Fair enough. It's your son's thing. You can do it. You can have a little bit of a bonding moment with him, and very once in the blue moon, something there will hit you.
I'm watching this for him because I'm not enjoying it.
No,
you know
no.
Oh yeah, totally. What I enjoy about it is all throwbacks to the originals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But again, that's a slightly different. See, I don't got to worry about that. I got no kids to worry about. So here's the thing. If you're going to come at me and go, hey, you know what? I'm going to take your money. You know what I'm going to say? You got me once. Good on you. Good fucking luck. Good fucking luck getting me twice. Right? Yeah. And you want to talk about franchises? Let's talk. Do you remember when they tried to do New Coke about 10 years ago? You know how long that actually that didn't last? That lasted like 10 fucking seconds. Because they realized, because everybody was like, hey, we ain't going to buy your stupid New Coke. Give us the old shit or we ain't buying. And they were like, yes, sir. Right? They knew where their bread was buttered. So this is right. So, yeah. So that's the thing, right? I've made a decision. The reason why I don't watch much TV, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm finally
watch anyway.
Well, no. I'm not missing anything. I like some of my creative friends that are watching the amount of television they're watching. It blows my fucking mind because I don't have time for this shit. I don't know what like.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'll watch like whatever my kids drag me in.
Yeah. And that's part of being a dad. It's like they're into stuff. They're discovering stuff for the first time. They're excited. Right. You're part of that, and you know that's great, right? Yeah. That's great. It should be that way. No, but that's what kids do. And the thing is, you're right, and that's what kids should do. But that's different than I gotta go find the time. I don't have time to watch this shit. I got time. Yeah. Here's you know what I want to watch. This is the thing. There's 2 shows I want to watch right now, and I might take the time like next week to finally watch them. The Boys.
Yeah,
right?
Me too. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And because I'm a book nerd, I'm a big Wheel of Time fan. I'm going to try to watch the show. Now, I might hate the show. That's fine. I can make that decision. I'm an old enough man, DJ, to go like this. If it sucks, I leave. Right? That applies to television. That applies to dates. That applies to business. That applies to.
That applies to me too. But when I'm in the movies with my family, and they're loving it, I can't walk out.
No. See, that's again. Me and you. This is the difference.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a difference, right? I'm a single guy.
Dads and yes, we love this, and I was like,
and you're like, and they know in your head you're like this. Oh, okay, I'm glad you like it, and then in your head you're like, fuck, I gotta come back to this shit some more, right? Right. That's what you're thinking, but you're also like, it's your family, and you love them, and this is what they enjoy, and you realize as a family man, this ain't all about you; it's about them too. So you gotta kind of figure it. Now you gotta find your little moments for you. But that said, it's like like when you made the decision to have a family, that your kids were going to run your life. You knew this pretty much once you made the decision to have kids. So that's fair. That is part of the game. And by the way, I don't fault you or any parent, period. Because listen, do you know how many parents watch those stupid shows from like 3 to 5 years old? They do it because all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I can watch. And I've seen parents go a little nuts watching this shit, right? Because it's dumb, but their kids love it. They're stuck. They're stuck. Right? There's nothing they can do. So that's the thing. That is the epitome of. Sometimes it can be the epitome of hell, because it's like it's right. It can be. Yeah. But at the same time.
Oh, you know what else is good? Umbrella Academy.
I heard that. That's
good. That's actually good. So we watched season 3, episode 1 last night, so we probably gonna watch the rest. But the whole family watches that one. But that one is good.
Okay, so
and Stranger Things is also good. That is really good.
I can't watch all of them. I gotta pick. The max I can watch is 3. right?
Okay.
The max I can watch is 3. The Boys is definitely in.
Right.
Right. The Wheel of Time, I've heard mixed messages about it. It's fine. It's
Mind you, I'm doing a fantasy comic and I'm passing on that. I can't. No, I'm not
No,
gonna.
that's right. No, you know what? No, see, for me, I'll tell you. Like we were talking about, like loves, like our loves from kids. My first fantasy series was Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. It was my first one. So for me,
you gotta watch this.
Yeah, you get it, right?
I had a friend telling me you gotta read this book. You gotta read it, and I just never did read the book. And then when I heard they was doing a series on them, I was like, okay, I'll just watch the. I'll just watch the series.
Straight up.
And then I saw what they were doing, and I was like, okay, maybe.
No, that's right.
Maybe I'll just go read the books when I get time.
No. The books are worth it. I will tell you straight up. The books.
That's what my friend was saying. Yeah, he said the books is worth it.
Yeah, now that they're done, now that they're all done. Yeah,
more the image or get a bad taste from the movies. I'd rather just read the book.
Yeah. I always suggest read the book first. So almost always, the book's going to be better than what you see on screen.
Because nothing can beat your imagination. You know what I mean?
Well, also very rarely does the problem is like television is a commercial industry. So it's about getting the product out there. It's not necessarily about getting a good product out there, right? It's not always about that. It's not I say that with the fact that, as you say, Umbrella Academy is really good. Stranger Things is really good. There's a lot of good things on television these days, but there's still a lot of shit. So the thing, right? So the thing is, what you got to understand is the demand for content, doesn't matter what it is infinite. It's fucking infinite. But you only have so much time, so much money, and so much effort you can make to making this stuff. Right. Very few places have the luxury. So like I said, when you see a good television show or a good movie, it's actually kind of a bit of a miracle because it takes a lot of things to make that work. Right. Among them is patience. And that sometimes is not there. Now, like I said, going to watch The Wheel of Time, I know it's not going to be The Wheel of Time from my book. I already know this up front. I'm going to give it the stand or fall on its own merits. Now, I will have certain expectations because I can't help it. I've read the series, but much like Harry Potter, like the Harry Potter movies, there are things in the Harry Potter movies that aren't in the books. There are things in the books that aren't in the Harry Potter movies, and the reason is they're different mediums. You can't do both, right? So you have to make a decision as a creative when you are in these different mediums. What matters? You're doing fantasy as a comic. There are some, like the fact that you have visuals to play with means you can skip a shit ton of descriptions, right? A shit ton, and that's great. But you still got to have a cool meta story. You still have to have your mythology has to be still pretty nailed down because that's a big part of a fantasy story. Doesn't matter what kind of fantasy story, it's a big part of it. So that's the thing that makes good work, right? So but again, you have some advantages because you have visuals, but you also have some disadvantages too because you only have so many pages. So you don't have the luxury always to get the stuff out there. You know what I mean? So right. So there's challenges with each medium, right? So again, I accept that. Knowing this, now again, I might hate The Wheel of Time. I might absolutely fucking hate it, and I can accept that, right? Because it doesn't change the fact that I still got 15 or 16 books that I really, really loved. So so if it doesn't work out, I'm not gonna cry quite so much because I already got my story. I already got it. So now I'm gonna see if they actually follow through. Because Lord knows, I tried Game of Thrones, and I'm never going to touch another television Game of Thrones thing ever again.
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
Let's go there. Yeah, Game of Thrones, man. I watched. Oh man, I watched
the first 5 seasons are awesome. But yeah,
exactly. I actually like the 6th season, because things start to turn the opposite way, and you start to see things start coming together. But that last season was bad. But the first 3 seasons pissed me off because I watched them in real time.
Oh yeah, but they were supposed to.
Exactly. But I was like, God. This is 3 consecutive years of watching And after the red wedding, I was like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this series. You know what I mean? Like I am not. So I boycott the whole thing, and then it went on and went on, and so my brother-in-law was like, hey, you gotta watch it. It's getting. I hate this series. They just make you fall in love with the characters and they just kill off the characters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, no. You seriously, you got to get back to him. I was like, no. Like you said, once, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't that. It was such a long game that I didn't have, and I was watching them in real time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
no.
when you're not binge watching them and you're watching everything in real time. And now in real time, so the first is they kill off Ned Stark, and now you drop me over here and you leave me for 1 year. I gotta wait. Now I gotta wait for however long for the next one come along, right? And then you do that to me again with Rob Stark. Boom. You know what I mean? And so it's like, was it the first 2 seasons, whatever it was? You know what I mean?
Season 3. It was season 3 when he got cacked because season 2 is so they for the first 5 seasons or so, basically one per book almost. I think maybe the 6th season was, but I know Storm of Swords maybe was 2 seasons. So maybe season 3 and season 4 were Storm of Swords.
I never actually read the book, so I don't know.
No, it's fair. No, it's fair. No, like that's how big that book was. There was a lot of material there. But the thing, but again, right? They were very true to the books. There's a lot of well thought out stuff. Now, for me, the books lost their appeal after the 4th book because for me, I realized something. He was. And this is true, basically, if you look at the rest of the series, too. There's a very nihilist point of view about the whole series. And the thing is, on a personal note, I cannot say that I'm a big fan of, I want the heroes to win somewhat. And I look, and also, now, the 7th season with Daenerys, that's a whole, we do, that's the whole thing all in its own. But even without that, I realized that the characters I liked, almost maybe 1 or 2 of them were going to survive this. That was it. That was the whole plan. I realized that. Now, my favorite 2 characters, ironically enough, were Jon Snow and Daenerys, followed by Tyrion. Right? Those are my 3 favorites.
Yeah, right? Mine's just Tyrion and Jon Snow. Yeah.
Yeah. So and
I like the tall girl.
Yeah. No, she was cool. No, there's a lot of cool characters. I like Arya. Yeah. I like Bran. There were some really cool characters in throughout. However, I also, but again, there was a tendency. I always thought there was a bit of a nihilistic bent in the series. So there's a point where nihilism just becomes a bunch of bullshit, and that's just how I kind of see it. Yeah. I like it when I have someone I can root for. It's going. I don't necessarily need them to win at the very end. It's not always about them winning. It's about the fact that I want to root for somebody.
Right.
And Game of Thrones, the longer it goes, the harder it is to root for anybody. So, and that's the thing about it. So I have this tendency. So that's why I like the Wheel of Time better. I think the Wheel of Time, okay, yes, it does have its own flaws. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but you got people you're going to root with the whole or most of the journey anyway, and it doesn't feel as bad. That's my take on it. It's not necessarily everybody's take on it, but it's my take on it. So that was the thing. Like I kind of. Also, the other thing too, when Feast of Crows came out, which was the 4th book, he cut it in half. So Dance of Dragons is the 5th book, which took forever to come out. So all the characters I really like were in Dance of Dragons. All the characters I really didn't care about are. It's like, oh god damn it! All the characters I really like are in. Like, no, there's no Tyrion, there was no Jon, there was no Daenerys, there was no Arya.
That's what my brother-in-law, because he was reading the books at the same time when he was watching his shows and all of that. So I was like, okay, so I'm just gonna skip the books then. I'll just. Because it's not even done from what I understand, right?
It's still not done. It's still not done. He's 2 books from finishing the series, theoretically.
Yeah.
We might see the 6th book at some point next year. There is a chance. Fuck if I know. Right for
You
me.
think the TV series screwed him up in the head, like for writing?
No. He always was a slow writer. Like to be very
Oh,
honest with you, he always was a slow writer. It's so he's an interesting career. Like George R. Martin himself is an fascinating career because he started in the 70s writing science fiction. One of the best, like if you want to read some of his absolute best stuff, get his GRRM a retrospective. All his short stories are in there, and some of them are amazing. He's a really good writer. But then he took 10 years, and he actually went into television for 10 years. He wrote some, and then he came back to do Game of Thrones after doing his television run. So he did like he was never super quick as a novelist. He was never super fast. If you want my opinion on what his best book is, in my opinion, it's a book called Tough Voyaging. It's really good. If you find it, it's an old school science fiction book. It's really, really good.
was it?
Tough Voyaging? TUF.
Okay.
Yeah, right. And then Voyaging. It's actually a really, really good book. You might be depending. I don't know what kind of used bookstores you have in Hawaii, but if you got one that's really got if you got one that's really got an old school science fiction section, you might find it there. Like it's an old book.
Okay.
He wrote it in the 70s or early 80s. So I mean, it's an old book. But that's some of his best stuff, in my opinion. Great stuff. Like I said, he's a great writer. It's not that he messed up. It's just you become successful, right? Okay, look at I'll give you another example. Stephanie Meyer. Okay. Okay. Say what you will about Twilight. We're not going to talk about the concept. We're just going to talk about the success. Because you can't argue. A hit's a hit. You can't argue that. Whatever it comes from, however it works, a hit's a hit.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Suddenly now you're getting offers to write stuff for Hollywood. You're getting offers to represent certain projects, to get access to studios you never would have dreamed of otherwise. You're going to explore those options because it's good business for you to explore those options. Because, again, you don't know how long this high is going to last, right?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So, so business-wise, I understand, right? I understand. It's like anything else. Like, we have a mutual friend, Mog Park, Game of Thrones. Her, right? Mog, and to her credit, right? And it's opened other doors for her to do all kinds of other things down the road. And she's going to kick all kinds of ass, whatever she chooses to do. By the way, hi, Mog. Hi, Mel. Nice to see you.
Mog, hi, Mel. And hi, On. On is with them, too.
Oh, I am such a huge fan of On. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I am a big fan of her, especially. We got something we want to work on together, too. So it's going to be fun. That all said, all right, when you have that kind of success, doors open. Mm-hmm. And it's very, very like something I really like. I've been busy as a freelancer for the last 2 months. Next month, I'm not going to be as busy. At least right this minute, I'm not going to be as busy. That could change. Like tomorrow, that could change. At this minute, I'm not that busy. So now I have to, and what I have to remind myself over and over and over and over and over and over again is to keep hustling and to keep looking. And that's what they're doing. They're just hustling at a much different level. Right.
And Mel is awesome. Well, she got Mel too, though. You know what I mean? So that's a unit right there. So
they are an awesome team.
Mel is don't discount Mel. And he's got his own experience too. You know? So Mog and Mel together.
Mr. Mel is a sharp cookie. I've had him on the show. I've actually drawn with him on the show, which is kind of cool. Like just him. No On, no Mog, just him. Because I realized, and again, love Mog, I love On, I love both of them. But it's like, wait, I've never actually had Mel on by himself. Let's bring him on, have some fun. He was cool. He's race enough to do it. No, super, super sharp dude. I'm not even like. He's also he's also a super nice guy. So I told him like me and On are working, like I said, we're quietly working on something. And oh my gosh, Papa Bear came. I have to meet Papa Bear Mel, right? Because On is their Padawan. They know this. So I have.
They pull on her Mogwai.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
Like
No.
Mog has a bunch, and On was one of them. So they had a bunch of young, young artists that was learning from Mog, and so like we would call him the Mogwai.
Nice. No.
Mog had her Mogwai.
An's going to be like, you can see it. She's going to be something incredibly special. I'm
Yeah.
going to try to work with her now before I can't afford her, because there's going to come a point,
Yeah.
right? I won't be able to, and I will be incredibly happy for her. And I say that all of that to say, right? All these doors open for when you get, like, I've seen this I've had a little bit of success, and doors have opened for me because of who I am, right? It just on the little way, and the bigger those doors open, the wider that door opens, the more doors open. It's very hard to keep your shit together when you're successful. It is probably much, much harder than when you're trying to get to the top. Because trying to get to the top, you're going to stumble and make mistakes, but nobody's noticing you so much when you're trying. It's when you do it. That's when people notice you. So it's such a, I can understand. So to go back to your original question with George R.R. Martin or anybody like that, I understand why they seem to scatter. It's not that they've scattered. It's just they got so much on their plate now that you never would have imagined before. But it's there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I cannot do too many, especially the creative part. You need that headspace to clear up to do the creative part. So I get that.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just didn't know. I haven't looked into it, and so I in the back of my mind, I was just wondering. I wonder if the TV, like, if all the static from the TV show just kind of messed him. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, you have to buffer yourself to like once you realize, like, once your stuff is so big, it's gonna go ahead to. Okay, just think about this. We spent 40 minutes talking about Star Wars. We're not going to go back down that road, right? But we did it. And the thing about that, though, is George Lucas. Think about this from George Lucas's point of view. He made this, okay? And it's become this runaway juggernaut. He no longer is so big, in fact, he no longer has any piece of it. Mm-hmm. Think about that for a second. Like, that's like how big this is.
Yeah.
And you got millions of people with different opinions. It's like, oh man, Clone Wars sucked. Oh man, that's Rise of the Skywalker. Oh man, and he's hearing this over and over. And I mean, just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Right. So what are you gonna do? Like, you get a thicker skin a little bit. You have to.
Yeah.
Because you're just gonna hear it nonstop. But the other end of the spectrum too is, this is also why you buffer yourself a little bit, because you know you're going to put yourself out there. If you become super, super successful, look, I know this is going to be hard to fathom for a second, but the show is getting bigger. So I have started to hear, I have heard occasionally that people hate my show because I talk too much. I know. Can you imagine that I talk too much? Right. But here's the thing. The bigger I get, the more I'm going to hear a shit ton of different opinions. That's just life, right? Yeah, right. So you have to, when you put yourself out there, you're going to hear everything and everything. And that's what, and so two things. One, you will develop a slightly higher alcohol tolerance. And number two, you have to accept the fact that once your projects leave the door, they're still yours, but they're also not just yours anymore. They're the audience's and how they interpret it, and you're gonna have to live with it one way or the other, right? And all you can really do is just do the best you can. Here's another franchise that's, like, I think personally is terrible, but you can't argue success. 50 Shades of Grey. Do you think that author gives a rat's ass what anybody thinks? Like, this with the amount of money she's made doing this? Just care.
But there's people that like that stuff, so I can.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But so yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. It's the same thing. Like, I do fantasy. Not everybody likes fantasy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But the difference is she's successful. I'm just starting. You know what I mean? So,
oh no, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it totally. No, that's but you never know, right? it might juggernaut to something beyond what you ever could imagine it to be, right? And that's the thing. You can, like, where does a hit come from?
Yeah, exactly.
No one knows.
Exactly.
No one.
Exactly. Not only that, we keep treading the same lines. We keep going over the same thing over and over and over.
Oh, sure.
Where's the next hit's gonna come from? Where's the next good stuff gonna come from? You know, and then you got a new generation of creators and all of that, but then you get the guys like me that just not gonna stop. We're just not gonna stop creating. You know what I mean? And so, you know.
So one day, I mean, you could be like, you could be in your 60s, and suddenly you write something. Hey, like, my favorite all-time success story is Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
He was 66 years old when he finally made it. And here's the thing. He tried everything. He did everything he thought he could do. And he's like, got down to the wire. It's like, well, I can cook a mean fucking bit of chicken.
Yep. We're still eating this chicken right now. Still eating this chicken today.
Yeah, exactly.
KFC tonight.
But that's my point, right? That, like, you can't control when this shit happens, how this happens. Yeah. All you can do, like, I said this actually, like, I put my stuff out there. It's like, let's go both ways. Like, the way, like, sometimes when you put your shit out there, you know this, it feels like nobody's listening, right? And you're like, that sucks. I want someone to listen to my shit. The truth is, someone is listening to your shit. They're just not responding for whatever the reason they're choosing not to respond. And that's fine. That's totally okay. This goes back to full circle almost. This is a game of self-belief. More than anything else, you gotta believe that what you have is worthwhile. Yeah. And furthermore, that you're worthwhile. Because you're the one telling the story. And that's it. And that's all you can control. The rest of it is God willing, you know?
Yeah. So
we probably should talk about your series at some point, shouldn't we?
Yeah. So did you go over the stuff?
I literally got home and I just put it in. But I do know this because I've been watching because again, I'm the one that called you out and went for your Kickstarter. This is your first real attempt at this, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. So okay, I mentioned before we went down the Star Wars therapy train. I'm going to ask it like this. Why did you decide to get into comics? Like, what was your reason?
Oh man, I was always drawing. I love drawing. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just I had to figure out how to do the thing I love. You know what I mean? So it's like I just from when I was 5 years old, I just wanted to draw. I was a kid that got in trouble because I was always drawing. You know, so when my mom would ground me, she would say no drawing for a week. You know what I mean? Or if I was really bad, no drawing for a month. You know, but I had to figure out how to just keep it going. You know what I mean? And so, but when I was drawing cartoons and whatever inspired me. But when I found Marvel Comics, and then I saw like, wow, somebody actually, like, because they get the credits on the comics. You know what I mean? Penciler, Jim Lee, and I was like, wait. Jim Lee did, so this is a real guy. You know what I mean? There's a real guy. He gets paid to draw this comic.
Yes.
I love drawing. How do I get paid to draw this comic? You know what I mean? And so, you know, I graduated, went to college. I talked to the teacher, and I was like, what classes do I take to be an artist to go draw at Marvel Comics? And it was like, oh, you could do that and all of this, but you know, honestly, you should just go to New York and just go over there and just try. And I never did. So I was like, I live in Hawaii. You know what I mean? I was like, I wasn't about to leave Hawaii, and moving to New York that's really far for me, you know. So I was like, okay. So I gave that up. I just went on with life, and then, but in 2002, I got into an accident, and then I broke my back in 3 places. So I broke my back, and then I was in, recovery for like 1 year. And so my mom, she brought my sketchbook, and she said, here, son, just lying down all day, just draw. Just do something that you like. You know what I mean? So I started drawing again, and I fall back in love with drawing everything that everything that I feel when I'm drawing and all of that. So time on lying on the bed and with my sketchbook, I was like, this might be like God's way of saying, hey, maybe you should pursue this instead of, because I wasn't unhappy, but I wasn't fulfilled. You know what I mean? I
You were
wasn't.
content. You were
Yeah,
content.
to go on with life, and I could have went on that way, but I was like, I, I, I'm alive when I do this. You know what I mean? When I'm drawing, God, there's no better feeling for me. I gotta keep drawing. I gotta figure out how to keep this going in my life so that I can live while I'm living. You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah. No,
not
totally.
just surviving. You know what I mean? I gotta live. You know what I mean? So the rest was me shifting and figuring out, okay, how do I do this? And now with the internet, like, okay, now I could learn. Now I could find people. I could submit my stuff. I could send stuff in. Now you can scan stuff and send them all the way around the world, wherever it is.
Oh yeah.
So that was a game changer for me. You know what I mean? So I was like, I no longer had to go straight to New York. I mean, you got to go to conventions now if you wanna. But I learned that later on. You know what I mean? So, anyways, so the rest of the time is just me figuring out, okay, how do I not just draw, but not, I met my wife and then we had kids, and so now I got to figure out how to balance out life and drawing, and I got the job and it would draw after work, and you know what I mean, just balancing all of that, and just uh, just burning the candle at both ends, and I did that for a long time, and then I got smart. I was whatever job I was working at, I was never happy. I was never happy. And then I realized, okay, you know what? If I'm not gonna be happy, at least I can pay my bills. But if I can find one job where I can draw at the same time, now I'm killing two birds with one stone. So I would get jobs where it's like, in the middle of the night, overnight, and then I can bring my work and I can draw at the same time. And then I did that. You know what I mean? I did that and so a lot of these pages that I in these comic that I did is like me working at some graveyard shift someplace, and then drawing it in the middle of the night, and just
Yeah.
keep that going, and just because you gotta live, you gotta survive. I gotta pay
Oh
my
yeah.
bills, feed my family. I gotta do all of that, right? You know what I mean? And so yeah, COVID was the game changer. So COVID was different. After a while, my wife started working, and then I start, I start making a little bit money off of this stuff, and so now we can kind of switch roles. So now my wife is working, and now I can focus on this, and you know what I mean. So now I can devote my time to just doing that. It took me 2 years to figure out how to work Kickstarter.
It's all good. It's not easy.
All of
It's not
this,
easy.
like doing the emails, and just all of that. Just it took me a long time, and
Well,
so
yeah,
here I am now.
and glad to have you.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. No, totally, totally, man. So no, I think I'm very similar to you. I'm a freelancer. I don't work for any one place anymore. That doesn't mean, again, I'm gonna have ups and downs. But again, the one advantage I do have over you, in one sense, my advantage is I don't have a kid to worry about feeding, right? On
right.
the other hand, you got a wife in your corner, so you have a family in your corner, which
Yeah,
which 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 that's the advantage you got. So there's a trade off both ways.
right,
I
right,
don't
right.
right, so I can live with less than you can.
Yeah,
However, at the same time, um, you got someone that's supporting you. You work
yeah.
better with a unit, right? And if your wife is helping you,
Mm.
oh man, I mean, you got a tag team, my friends. You're gonna kick some ass. Especially she'll probably like, I'm doing this. You better kick some ass, and she's like, that's motivating you, right? So in the
Exactly,
best
exactly.
way, the best
Yeah,
way. So,
yeah.
so drawing's your first love. So I guess I'm gonna ask this then. So you always been drawing. When did you start telling stories with it?
I feel like drawing it like so anybody who draws anything, you just get into like, if you draw in one character, all of a sudden your mind starts feel like, your mind starts filling in those details. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, totally.
And so you know what I mean. Like, so they say a picture, uh, a picture is worth 1,000 words, or whatever it is. A picture says 1,000 words. And it's true, because when you're drawing, all of these details is coming in. It might be the simplest drawing, and but so your mind is doing all of that stuff as you draw. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but when I fell in love with the art form of the American comics, because I love cartoons and I love video games. I love all of that stuff. But when I see just the pen and ink, just the brush work, and all of that, the storytelling on the page, oh man, all that, like, so when you asked me what my first love was, I had to say Star Wars, because chronologically that was it. But the greater love for me is comics. You know what I mean? The greater love for me is working on that board, drawing those, inking those pages. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just I don't know, something, that tactile feeling of just putting that ink on that page. That is like, I feel like I'm not working until I'm on my drawing table. Like, this is work right now, and I got to promote the book, but in my mind, that's not, the drawing is the work. You know what I mean?
The drawing's the joy.
Work is yeah.
The drawing's the joy.
It is the joy, but in my mind, like, it doesn't feel like I'm working. Like, this, this is necessary. You know what I mean? And this is in some sense, this is more. I don't enjoy this. I mean, I enjoy the conversations, but the emails and the configuring and clipping and all of the internet stuff you gotta do.
It's the advertising.
It's
the advertising, because the big thing with you is, right? It's going full circle here, right? You realize you have to advertise.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. But there's a balance with that too, because you have to create, because the best advertisement is new content. That is the best. At the same time, you have to get it out there, and you're trying to establish a certain level of street cred. This is your first Kickstarter. So now are you going to fulfill it? You have to fulfill it. You have to make sure every order is good. You're building a community so that when your next book comes, you're even more successful, and then the next book even more successful, and the next book, right? Because that's how it works. It's a journey. It's a journey. And going back to something I said at the very beginning, you're a businessman now, and there's a business to this, which is why like, going back to something you said, you understand it. There are parts you like, and there are parts you don't. Right. And the part you like, the part you actually like, is the drawing and the really cool shit. By the way, I am looking at your comic as we're talking about it right now. Dude, you're really good. Like, you drew all that. You are amazing, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm finding that I'm really enjoying these interviews. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm really so like people that have like YouTube pages. I wanna make one. You know what I mean? I wanna just get it out there so I can have my, I don't know if the word is soapbox or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just that podium
platform. You're looking at the fact too. You realize this too, is every voice needs a platform, right? This is mine. I'm a very fortunate person, as you can see. Lots of people have come on the show and we bullshitted about. Dude, we spent 40 minutes on Star Wars therapy. I mean, that's a cool. I mean, not a typical. How do we put this? Not a typical conversation you have in most interviews, right? But we did it. But we did it.
All right.
Right. That's. But the thing is, it makes me look good, because every person that comes on the show helps build me, and in turn, I'm building them. It's a mutual thing. Right. And when I have my own projects, everybody's like, "Oh shit, Josh has something," and they help me, right? And that's an amazing thing, because again, I'm just doing a very small thing for you, and you're doing it right. That's how I see it, right? So, but I've built this platform. It's taken a long, like, you don't get to where I'm at very, like, that takes a long time, right? So that's the thing, right? That's the challenge, and you're just getting into it. So this is the short game, is you're trying to make the biggest splash you possibly can right off the bat.
Right.
The long game, though, is you want people to know that you're here to stay. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. Right. So, that is a a difficult challenge, and not everybody can do it. It's hard. It really, really is. And finding that balance is that's the biggest challenge I've always had as a freelancer is money versus time. Usually when I have time,
exactly the challenge right there, money versus time.
Yep. You try to find that happy medium. That's the real thing. Like when I had a regular job, I had a very flexible regular job. But even so, there'd be times I'd be so frustrated because I would need more money and I'd have to work more. And I'd be so frustrated because I'd be like, I'm doing this really cool. And sometimes the highs of what I'm doing going into that day job the next, oh my God, I felt like it's such a wild, like up and down roller coaster, right? But there comes a point, and this is where I think where you're at, and this is where I'm at. We're like, well, fuck this shit. I gotta really put it. I want to really go all in on this. I want to see what I can do. I have the confidence to say I am awesome and made of cheese. When I maybe again in my own way, right? I'm going to go out there. I'm going to make a living doing what I love and loving what I do because I'm too fucking old for anything else. And also, I don't know about this video. I realized for me, I have become relatively unemployable. And what I mean by that is I am no longer afraid of anybody. Which is right. And for a lot of bosses, that's frustrating because I will speak my mind. I don't give a shit. Right. I just don't give a shit at this point. And I'm not trying to impress you anymore. I will do my job. Right. That's the thing. I'm past that point. Right. I'm here to do a job. I don't care what the job is. I'm here to do a job. If you are going to give me the proper preparation and tools to do the job, I will do the job. If you don't, I will do the best I can, and I'm not going to worry about it because if you were so worried about it, you would give me the tools I needed to succeed. But since you didn't, why the fuck should I care? And I'm like, that unfortunately makes me very unemployable to a lot of bosses because that means I'm not going to break my back to impress. And he can't scare me into doing it. And that's a very, very dangerous, like I said, I've become a very dangerous man because you have none of those things.
Same. I mean, my last job I had was, was the same thing. It's like, I'm just here to do my job, and I'm not trying to impress nobody because at the end of the day, I can just go keep drawing these comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not here.
Yeah,
I'm like seriously. I'm here. I'm here in body because I need a paycheck, but really, in every other way, I'm not here. So
I would do my job anytime. Anytime I needed to do whatever it is I need to do, that's not a problem. But on the down times, I'm not trying to impress you. You know what I mean? And I was banking on those downtimes so I could use the downtime to kill two birds with one stone.
Oh no, that's just it, right?
But it also made me dependable because when people would fall asleep and I would be up working, I'll be like, hey, this guy's sleeping. You know what I mean? Like,
no. I'm almost half tempted to go for a late night job if I was, but the other part of me is I don't really want a job right now.
Why? Yeah. Well, I mean, what would do? Like you say, do what you love and love what you do, man. That's
exactly. That's it. That's totally it, man.
Right now, we just got to keep going. Just keep going and do it.
One of my freelance gigs is I get paid to play a card game. That's a pretty sweet gig. Let me tell you. So, but
what game is it? What card game is it?
Oh, it's a brand new one. It's a prototype. I'm helping play test it, and I might be doing a little bit more with it. I find out a little bit more about that this weekend actually, because I actually have a few things. He made me an interesting offer. I'm going to find out just how.
Texas Hold'em or something. You know what I mean? Like
no, not that kind of. No. I am too aggressive to play poker well. I'm too aggressive. I figured out with poker a long time ago, like poker is all about buying people out. And actually it's true. You figure out that psychology, you can go a long way with that. But what tends to happen to me, well, when it goes my way, the stack gets big, and then I get really aggressive, almost like reckless and stupid. So I don't have it's a if I were really serious about it, I think I could overcome that weakness. But I'd rather create shit, or I'd rather talk to people like you. That's it.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah,
that's what,
yeah. Exactly.
all right. So, but we're gonna wind this down a little bit, but basically, you decided to do your own. I'm not gonna say epic fantasy exactly, although it does say epic saga on your cover, right? So, why fantasy? Like, why? Like, what was the origin of Exillion? That's your comic, right? So,
Yeah. Actually, it started off. It was gonna be like, steampunk or cyberpunk or all of that was going to be kind of like this battle chasers kind of deal. Then I find out I'm actually not that good at drawing steampunk stuff. I'm actually not that good at drawing, tech stuff. Is like, okay, but I can draw castles. I can draw
you
castles.
do, you,
I can draw horses.
dude, like you got an old school. Like I was just again, I'm glancing at pages while I'm talking to you. It's an old school epic fantasy. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, exactly. But I was like, well, but plus if I keep them in, I was having a hard time doing the world building if it was all sci-fi and fantasy together, right? So I had to cut out the fat and just okay, let's just do fantasy. And then my first novel that I actually read was Dragonlance.
Okay.
So Dragonlance is actually a huge influence on the way the way I want to do this. Exillion takes a lot of cues from Dragonlance, but with the sensibilities of American comics. You know what I mean? So it's comics meets that fantasy genre. Yeah. So there's a lot of that, and I just love the fantasy. Plus, too, it's with fantasy I can make it up. I can, you know what I mean?
Totally. Oh yeah.
Living in Hawaii, I don't have a reference. I mean, there's the internet, but there's nothing like being in the city and then drawing the city versus going on Google Maps. You know what I mean?
So, okay, so video game. We're gonna talk about video games for a second because they're one of a very famous studio, very famous franchise. A lot of games that were made in Hawaii. And that's the Final Fantasy franchise, right?
Oh.
Yeah, Final Fantasy X. Oh yeah, no, dude. There's definitely like
I can see that. I can see that. I can see that now.
Yeah. No, it's totally not so much 12 or 13 but well 12 a little bit, but 10, especially 10.
Okay, 10. Yeah, 10.
Yeah. 10. Oh my god.
Yeah. I could see that. That's exactly what that 10 is the only one I actually played.
I don't know whether to applaud you or give you a there because my favorite ones were 7, 8, 9, like 6, 7, 8, 9. Those that era is my favorite era of the Final Fantasy games. I'm one of like 10 people that love 13. I love the world.
The 7 reboot. That's the one I want to do.
7. Okay, so 7 is my favorite combat system. The original is my favorite. The original, I haven't played the remake yet, so I had myself, but the original.
My son has it upstairs, but he's playing Ghost of Tsushima, so.
Yeah, no, so for me, the original has the best combat system I've ever seen in any Final Fantasy game. It's so,
I didn't play. The only reason I didn't play it is because I was too busy when those games came out.
Oh no, that's fine.
I just had to work and just survive and all of that. You know what I mean? So.
Oh no, totally.
I played 10 when I was in recovery. You know what I mean?
So 10. So 10. I hate Blitzball so much. Yeah. I hate it so much.
It's not one of my favorite games either. I never passed the game, but I played it. But I was like, okay, I like the action games. You know what I mean? It took me a while to get into turn-based games, and even now I'm not so much into the RPG kind of games. You know what I mean? I just don't have the time to spend on it.
Well, it might be time, but there are 2 I would recommend for you. One, the Tales games.
Dark Tales?
No. They're called Tales, like Tales of. There's like Tales of Arise, Tales of Xillia. There's a few of them.
Okay.
So here's what I love about it. They kind of have a turn-based, kind of, but I love the character moments. When you win battles, you get all these little skits with these characters.
Right.
They make you laugh, but they're also incredibly humanizing. I really dig. Like I love. Also, I used to be a fighting game guy, so there's a
Yeah,
little
me
bit of
too.
that. There's a little bit of that in the early Tales games, and so I get like the best of both worlds.
Okay.
But the other one I really like is Persona, and the reason Persona is a Japanese RPG. It's a combination. This will sound crazy when you hear it. It's an RPG and The Sims put together.
Okay.
It's
I mean,
actually
they do good stuff, man. Like you
you
just
know, but okay. So Persona 5, if you can get your hands on that, it's a freaking incredible game. It starts with a bang. It's what it really is. It's an RPG thief game. You're sneaking around trying to steal shit. It's really cool, but it's also it's got an RPG elements to it. It's got fantasy elements to it, and it's cleverly well done. It's so cleverly well done. The music, everything in it is just feels like such a fantastic little world. In fact, I like the music so much. One like the end boss music for the game, like the last boss's music, sounds like a Michael Jackson pop song, and that's what you fight. Like, no, dude, you are. It is an amazing. And
yeah,
it's
music
Japanese.
is huge too. Like yeah, if you got good music, yeah, you
Yeah,
got it.
no. So I know. So you'll see it occasionally on my thing. Like my favorite song of the last 5 years was "Rivers in the Desert." That's the final boss. It's from that OST. It's the final boss music in that game. It's incredible. It doesn't sound like any boss music I've ever heard, but you get into it, man. It feels like it pops. It just pops. It's so good. It's so cool. And
Um,
you'll never believe that it's a Japanese rock and roll band that sings it because
oh, wow.
it's in English. It's in complete English, and it's just like it's like so cool, right? So,
Oh,
but
yeah.
so those are my go tos. But going now back to you. So we got to wrap this bad boy up soon, and you got stuff to do. So you made the decision to do Epic Fantasy and the Honored Dragonlance. So I have two questions. Here's the two. So now that you've done fantasy, right? Do you love it, or is there some other genre you really want to try?
Well, I'm gonna try more genres for sure. I'm probably gonna do superhero. I want to do the fight, like the Street Fighter kind of the action, that everything fast paced. You know what I mean? Like I'm an action guy, so I probably do like I have so much characters and stories of different genres. So sci-fi, I got some sci-fi ideas, and then I got a lot of characters. I got a lot of stories. I got a lot of drafts in my Google Drive. I got a lot of just working all of
Yeah.
this stuff. So I don't know what is next. Well, I gotta finish issue 6 next, but I'm also I do a lot of Hawaiian comics. So I do a lot of Hawaiian legends, and then I bring them. We draw them in like the comic book style, but it's all we reference as much as we can find, because not everything is on Google. Google doesn't have everything, so a lot of our history is lost. So we got to reimagine that stuff. So I'll probably do some Hawaiian stuff more of. I would love to do like a Dynasty Warriors kind of comic, like you know what I
I
mean.
love Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, me
Dynasty
too.
Warriors is the
Me
shit.
too. I'm a
Is the
huge
shit.
Dynasty Warriors fan.
I
But
so my favorite out of that is Warriors of Orochi when they combine the Dynasty Warriors and the Samurai guys together. It's sweet.
right.
It's pretty
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
sweet.
yeah. Me and my boys, we love those games. We play them all the time. But I would love to do like I actually have that's another draft that I have. It's called Emperors and Warlords, and it's all in that vein. You know what I mean? So you're getting those same visuals but different characters. You know what I mean? Because you gotta get paid for your own stuff. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah. But anything action oriented, I'm game. You know what I mean? So I
So my
really want to do a superhero one next, a Hawaiian superhero one next.
so
Yeah.
then which I guess it's the last question, man. So what is the biggest thing you have learned on your Kickstarter?
The biggest thing that I've learned on my Kickstarter.
Yeah.
That's a good question. The biggest thing I learned is not to be ashamed of who I am. You know what I
Really?
mean? Yeah, because I was it's different. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was not a, I was always not quiet per se, but when it came to like putting myself out there, I had the hardest time doing that. You know what I mean? That's why it took me this 2 years to just gather up the courage and just, okay, you can finally put yourself out there. You can put yourself out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just uh, it's it's different now because when I was younger and I tried, I lived in Massachusetts and all of that. So not that I had a bad experience, but I think I just I was a fish out of water. You know what I mean? So as a fish out of water, I felt like I had to be there to make my art career succeed, and so I couldn't live and be who I was. You know what I mean? But now, because of Kickstarter and because everybody in the world is trying to do it, you know what I mean? So now the world is more accepting to just everything else, and that's awesome. You know what I mean? So there's a, and I think it's the creative part too. As an artist, you kind of not self hate, but you kind of denigrate yourself to some degree. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I had to learn to turn that off in my brain because it used to come across. You know what I mean? It used to come across, and then that would be my own worst enemy. You know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
sure. No, I totally get it. So I'm going to ask this question then. What terrified you more, failure or success?
Oh, failure for sure. Like,
Are you sure? I asked that gently because this is what I mean. Failure, although is painful as fuck, because you put everything you got into it and you could still fail. That is a very painful lesson all of us face sooner or later. But when you have success, you have expectations.
yeah,
You're right,
I
right?
mean,
So
I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But for
okay,
me,
no, it's fair enough.
for me, it's not just one failure. One failure is nothing. It's the failure for me is if I stop, I'm a failure. You know what I mean? If I let the next thing defeat me or break me down, then that failure is the one stone wall that I couldn't overcome. You know what I mean? And if I get success and all of that, I'm sure there's a whole big
no, totally, yeah.
big I don't know, because I've I don't consider myself successful. I mean, I've had successes, but I'm not where I
I
want to be. You know what I mean?
no,
But
no, we none of us are ever where we want to be, my friend. I think
yeah,
I
but
think the one
still,
thing I
but
sorry.
still, yeah, it's failure. It's what I fear more is failure,
Okay, no, it's fair.
and it's that one failure will stop me. You know what I mean? Because I
See,
feel like I got to be an example to my kids and my you know what I mean, that I cannot let nothing stop. I just got to keep going. You know?
I hmm. I think I figured something out about you. I think I don't know. I'm gonna throw a real shot in the dark here.
All right.
Okay, you have a hard time asking for help.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
reason and because I so this is I don't know. I've enjoyed this conversation, but would you like a wonderful piece of advice about this?
Sure.
You are very okay. Here's the thing: your pride is your strength and your weakness. Your pride won't let you fail because your pride says you can do this, and that's great. The problem you have, my friend, is that sometimes it's bigger than you, and and that's okay. But you'll be like, I'll take it all on myself anyway. And I am sure your wife has tied this conversation. Why didn't you come to me to help? Or why someone else come to you for help and be like, and you'd be like,
No,
no,
no, my
no.
wife is like, this is all you. This is your
Well,
dream.
no, in terms of your dream, yes. But I
Yeah.
bet you, if you go to her, I need your help, she'd be like, right there. That'd be very hard for you to do. That would be very,
No,
very
no. I ask her for, like, in that sense. I can ask my family for help. You know what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can ask the people that I know and I can trust. I can ask them for help. I
But
have a
for
hard time asking people I don't know for help.
that's okay. I get you. And this, oh my God, this is like facing your fear here on a Kickstarter because you are asking everybody for your
Exactly.
help. This is,
Exactly.
I
And not
get
only
you.
that, it's the publicness of it all. I've been doing everything in secret for so long, trying to work my job and then do this on the side, work this job and do this on the
And then
side.
you come to the light.
So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
boom, you know what I mean? And it's like,
It's-
so that took it
oh,
took a
yeah.
while to just be like, okay, the time is coming. You're gonna have to put yourself out there. And now it's boom out there. You know what I mean? So it's like,
No,
you know,
I get it.
what
No.
it is, you
Okay.
know?
So I'll offer this as encouragement, Mr. DJ. I'm gonna say it like this: you do amazing work. I looked at it like again. I'm no joke. Looked at some of your pages. You've done some incredible work. You should be very proud of what you've done. And as far as asking for, I say this with experience. These teeth are fake, right here, sir. Right? They're fake. And I asked for help on a GoFundMe to fix them. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But what I realized in that moment was, one, I realized two very important things. First off, when we ask for help is actually when we're at our strongest. And I say that because that's when we can acknowledge to ourselves, we are honest with ourselves that we need help. That takes real strength. That
Yeah,
it takes
yeah,
incredible courage.
yeah.
And the second thing, here's the second thing. You realize sometimes in asking for help that you're not alone. There are right now. I'm gonna do this real quick for anybody that watches this afterwards. This is your Kickstarter right now, right? Currently, you have achieved your goal, which I think is incredibly badass, right? You have achieved your goal. You have nearly 100 people that believe in you, and for a first campaign, that's pretty damn good, right? This is your
Yeah.
first one. Okay. Next one, you will be bigger. More people will realize how awesome you are as a person. And when you go out there, it's going to be easier, not just for you, but for them, because they can see the quality of your work and they're going to believe in the quality of your work. Right. And that's honestly impressive. It takes a lot of work to do what you've done, and you should be very proud of yourself. Honest. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a confidence problem. It's just
no,
I
you
have,
don't. No. You don't have
yeah,
a confidence. You don't have a confidence problem.
yeah,
But again, belittling yourself. But I do
yeah,
think belittling yourself
yeah,
that you
yeah.
need help.
Right.
That does that does ring true. I
Yeah,
think with you.
it took a while for because I thought Kickstarter was like, charity, like, you know what I mean. It took a while to kind of, but then you deal with life and it's like you rather do this or you rather just keep doing what you was doing. You know what I mean? And it's like,
There's that.
and then you make that switch and then you realize, no, this is like you say, a platform. You know what I mean? It's a platform where all the new creators is going. So if they're going in this
It,
way,
it,
you
it,
gotta go
it's
that way too.
it's more than that though too. You're thinking of it as a charity. Another way to think of it is an investment.
Yeah,
People are investing in you,
right. Yeah.
right? Then it's not charity. They are
Right.
expecting something in
Yeah. So
return.
what I thought was charity was wrong when I had the
Yeah,
wrong way of looking at it. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
when you put your campaign together, you read all of the stuff. It's not, Kickstarter is not a charity, and it
Far
took me a
from.
while to kind of break that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not. It's not a charity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, okay, but once I got to that point where I could like, I could rest on the fact that, no, I'm not here, groveling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Here, yeah, I had to tell myself that. You know what I mean? I had to tell you, like, it's not groveling when you do this. This is the way it works. Like, you know what I mean? Even in, you go work for some publisher, they paying you the money, but still, the concept is the same.
well,
Not
absolutely.
everything is the same still yet, but you know what I mean? Like, they have the upfront cost to do that. You're just taking out the publisher and you're going straight to the audience and you're saying, hey, boom, you
That's
know.
right.
So you're cutting out that middleman. And so once I got to that point, it was like, okay, now I can do this. And not only I can do this, I can do this with confidence. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Like
yeah,
I
so
said,
before this, I couldn't do them. I had zero confidence. You know what I mean? I never quite believed. So I took a while to pound them into my brain to make me believe. Because if I believe, then I can push and just do everything that.
yeah.
because you believe, you gonna fight for what you believe in. But if you think it's a lie, and I thought it was a lie for the first probably year when I was putting everything together, you know what I mean? But then when finally the truth opened up and I realized, oh no, this is not charity. You actually got to do the work. They're giving you, and you giving them a product. You giving them something. They're pledging their money, and then you giving something back. And it's like, okay, I can deal with that. Like, just took me
Yeah.
a brain a while.
No, it's how the how was new to you, but again, a bit of a pride thing too. Like it's like
Right.
yeah, it's a bit of a pride thing, but that's okay.
Yeah.
The thing is, you've established an audience. You are establishing an audience. So why don't you, since we are wrapping this bad boy up? By the way, thank you for coming on my show.
Oh no, thank you for inviting me, man.
Yeah. So tell people about your product. What's it about? What's your story about?
Exillion Creed of the Night and Hawk is a sword and sorcery fantasy comic. It's issue one. It's 30 pages, full color. I have issue one here. It's coming of age tale of Ambrose, the hero of the hero of Exillion, and his story, how he gets to become the hero that he is, and the world around him, and how the world around him shapes who he is as a person. And so, he's living the time of his life with his friends, and they're young and they're bold and they're brave and they're doing the things that young stupid boys do when they're becoming men. But all of that comes to a halt when war is upon them, and the orcs of the reach come and invade. And so now they find themselves on the front lines of battle, and they have to and so now he has to make a choice. Is he gonna keep being the young dumb friend and do the stupid shenanigans, or is he gonna actually become the hero that the people need? And so that's what this story is. And
That's
so, but
awesome.
it's and the world is filled out. I love world building. I love all of that stuff. So this rich world of knights and elves and wizards and paladins and all of that stuff. So when you read the comic, you will see like the world just opens up, and you just get sucked into this world. And there's a lot. It's not just action. It's drama. It's comedy. It's humor. It's interactions with the characters, and how they interact with one another, and you end up falling in love with the characters. And at any point in time, any character could take off and become the lead in the series. And we can just go venture whichever way we want to go with all the different characters. So it's pretty awesome. If you like Lord of the Rings, if you like D&D, if you like fantasy games, Dragonlance, like I said, is a huge influence on the way this story plays out. Um, but also, if you just want a good story with good characters, with you want to read a good comic, like the storytelling is there. I've been doing the whole comic book for a while, so you know this might be my baby, but I've been working on my chops for a while, and what he's looking at is issue one. The art actually it gets better as I go along, because I did that probably 10 years ago, and I got improved. There's improvement along the way, so.
So okay, off the air, we give you one little piece of advice off the air, but that's a really cool comic. How can people find you, man? If people want to talk to you, how can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, First Watch Studios, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, First Watch Studios. On Facebook, I have an Exillion page. You can follow me on Exillion, or you can just my name, DJ Keawekane. But if you don't want to spell my name, then you can follow First Watch Studios on Twitter, Facebook, and
First Watch
Instagram.
Studios.
Yep,
First Watch.
First Watch Studios, and I even have a TikTok page, but I'm
That's
I'm a
did that.
boomer.
Did I get
TikTok.
that right? Did I hit that right? Did I get that
Yep,
right?
yep.
Trained professional here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Trained.
right there. Yep. So yeah.
All right. On that note, let's wrap this bad boy up. So for everybody watching, everybody listening, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This is the deal. I have an advertising service page. I'm going to be announcing new deals next week. If you are interested in my services as they are, whether you want to promote a project, a company, yourself, whatever the case may be, click on that page right now. These deals will expire Monday morning. We'll have brand new deals, and we'll evolve. So if you want to take advantage of these prices now while you can, this is the time to do it. And for everybody watching, everybody listening, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark. Tomorrow is another drink and draw night with the one and only Shawnee O. It's going to be a fun one. Take care, everybody.